method, while calling method which is having more than 3 parameter, we must remember number of arguments, order of arguments, type of arguments. Come on, if you don't know one or two argument values, we cannot ignore them to pass. We should remember and pass meaningful default value, meaningful dummy value. Yes or no? Na? Sir, what do you mean by meaningful dummy value? Or he has not attended one exam. You should write 0, not -1, -2. If you write -1, -2, it will affect total calculation, average calculation. Based on that, rank generation also will be affected, right? Okay. And kills the readability. Are lengthy methods definitely kill the readability or not? To overcome this problem, what is the solution, guys? Okay. Don't pass data between two methods of same class or different classes or different projects in the form of method argument values. Okay. Design the method having Java bean class type parameter. Take Java bean class type parameter. Yeah, see guys. Seven values are there. I have taken Java bean with 7 arguments. I mean, it's a seven bean properties, 7 bean property with 7 plus 7 getter and setter method. 7 setter method, 7 getter method. Okay, now let's come to I design method having Java bean type parameter. Okay, inside the method, I read data from Java bean class object by calling getter methods. We calculate total, we get the average, and again we use business logic to what is that? Generate the logic, generate the rank, to generate the rank. Whatever result comes, we try to return this. Okay, that means Java bean getter methods are useful to read the data from bean property. Our choice bean properties. Come on. That's why every bean property should have a separate getter method, separate setter method, so that we can set data to our choice property. We can get data from our choice property. Okay. Okay. Before calling method, you create Java bean class object having data. While creating Java bean class object and setting data to it, we can uh, we can set the data in our choice order. Did you notice it, guys? We can set the data in our choice order. Nice. If you don't know 1, 2 values, you can ignore. It will automatically take default values. We need not to bother about number of properties because there's no guarantee you have to set all the values. While setting data, you will get help self description by seeing the method SNO, set course, set yes name. Self description is coming, right? You can ignore 1, 2 values which we don't know. Okay, then at the end you pass Java bean class object as the argument value. This is what we discussed or not? Shall we get into today's discussion, guys? Yeah. Let's get into today's discussion. Bean class or component class? See, Java bean class is different, bean class is different. That's why industry don't use the word bean class a lot. They use component class. Actual component word is Microsoft terminology. Bean word is Sun Microsystem terminology. But since people are getting confusion between Java bean and bean class, that's why we use more and more component class only. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Okay, guys. Right. Component class, guys. The Java, the Java class that is having state and behavior. variables are used inside the business logic of the business method is called component class. In fact, a perfectly developed, come on, a perfectly developed, understanding my statement, guys? A perfectly developed Java class can be called as component class. Array, state and class should have a state, and state should be used inside the methods while writing the business logic inside the methods. The Java class that contains state, member variables, what member variables? Non-static member, state and behavior, methods, and state must be used, inside the business logics of behavior methods is called bean class or component class. Bean class or component class. Okay, guys. Okay. Bean class. Sun Microsystem terminology. Okay. Component class. Okay. Microsoft terminology. Microsoft terminology. Okay, guys. Now listen carefully. Okay. Public class bank operations. Public class bank operations. Private string bank name. Private string branch. Don't you think it is called state, guys? Okay, boss. Private, private int, private int, branch ID, private. And I'm talking about bank operations. Now, why are you bringing account number into picture? Are you understanding my statement, guys? Okay. Array, without knowing state, why are you sitting in spring classes, Ra Babu? Jump into the train. You don't know state and you are attending Springer. Data of the object is called state. Logics of the object is called. Okay, guys. Logic of the object is called behavior. Methods are called behavior. Okay, member variables are called state. That I have written clearly, Rababu. Clearly. Guys, I don't know anything in core Java. I will attend Spring means not going to work out, boss. First learn something in core Java, come for a Spring topic. Sorry, I cannot teach Spring without having core Java knowledge. Okay, guys. I hope everyone understood what is state. I have clearly written non-static member variables. This is called state. Please. Okay. Generally state will be taken as private. Why? To stop direct access to state. Everyone should use state only through methods, not directly. So if you to make anything inside the class not visible outside the class, anything specific to inside object not visible outside object, what we do? Private. So what is the good practice? Member variables as private, methods as public, so that people can use state of the class or state of the object only through method, not directly. Only through method, not directly, right? Okay. State is like what? Okay. State is like what? Gold ornaments in our home. Gold ornaments in our home. Cash, valuable items in our home. Got it? Ah, tell me. People outsider can access them directly? No. If outsider wants to access, how they should access? Through family members. Okay, family members are public people, right? Ah, valuable items are private people, private things. Okay, family members are public methods. Anyone wants to access valuable items of our home, they can access directly? No, they will access only through family member who are public. Core Java ra babu, core Java. Private string, IFSC code. Right, guys. Private string IFSC code. Now I am giving behavior, guys. Don't be in the psychological feeling, you know core Java. Try to be strong in core Java, not only for Spring, for interview purpose perspective, for becoming good Java programmer. Strong core Java knowledge is required. I'm feeling very bad about your knowledge. In the Spring classes, you are asking what is state. I think without state and behavior, your core Java oops never starts, right? It's a very common terminology while learning core Java oops. You are not even recognizing means somewhere you have to check yourself. Behavior, nothing but methods, guys. Okay, state can be called as data. State is data. Okay, boss. Now listen carefully. Public, public, public. What is that? Public list string. List string. Generate balance sheet. Generate balance. Bank wants to generate balance sheets. Okay, here logic will be there not to generate balance sheet. Okay, array lot of accounts information it has to give, guys. That's why. Uh, in this business logic, in this business logic, state will be used. State, nothing but about data. Data will be used. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Okay. Tell me. Public list string get all lockers info. Get all lockers info. While doing this logic generation, again state will be used or not. Yeah, written something will be there, you don't worry. Again state will be used or not. In this business logic, state will be used. Okay. Here is also written something. End of the class, guys. End of the class. Tell me, the Java class that contains state and behavior, and state must be used inside the business logics of behavior, is called bean class or component class. Are you comfortable, guys? Sir, it is like same as Java Bean. No, Java Bean does not contain normal methods with business logic. Java Bean contains state, but Java Bean contains business logic. Sir. Business methods are there inside the business lab. Java Bean methods. No, not there. Okay. They are just getter and setter methods, right? Component class are bean class. Okay, guys. Component class or bean class is totally different from Java bean class. Yes or no? Okay. Because Java bean class methods are just setter and getter methods, not having any business logics, not having any business logic. Whereas the component class methods are uh, methods are okay, business methods having useful business logics and business logic and other important logics of the application. Business logics, other important logics of the application. Understanding my statement, guys? Okay. Are the people who joined yesterday today? The people who joined yesterday today. Okay. These are the backup videos, guys. These are the backup videos. That's the number one. Number two, these are the faculty and admin details. These are the faculty and admin details. Please collect. I think, okay, okay. I think those who have received mail regarding, uh, those who received mail from the Naresh ID, you got all the links, you got all the links of the initial classes. Okay, guys. Right, boss. Array, listen, guys. Listen. No compiler, no runtime environment. No compiler, no runtime environment says this can be there, this cannot be there, this is good, this is bad. This is what? Logical identification of the classes. Suppose you didn't follow Java Bean standard. No compiler says, hey, you are not following Java Bean. Are you understanding my statement, guys? These are logical identification of classes, guys. These are logical identities. See, guys, male, female, we can identify they are physically there in this world. Good boy, bad boy, okay, sadist boy, okay, helping boy. All these are what? Logical identification of the people, right? Okay, is there anyone to certify like that? Is there anyone to certify? Similarly, Java Bean, component class, POSO class, POSI, all these are logical identification. If you don't follow seriously, none of them, okay, some of those rules, no compiler will give error, no runtime throw will exception. These are just standard followed by programmer as logical identity for each class. That's it. As the logical identity for each class. Are you getting my point? Someone is asking me, sir, I will keep getter setter method in the component class. What happens? What happens? Nothing will happen. Sir, I will write business method in the Java bean class. What happens? Nothing will happen because no compiler is there to check whether you are developed perfect class or not. Compiler is not there to check whether you developed perfect Java bean or not, whether you are developed perfect component class or not, because these are logical identities, boss. These are not real compiler level identities. I hope is it registered in the brain? Is it registered in the brain? I don't follow. I'll mix up Java bean standard and component class standard together. Your karma. Your karma, Rabab. See, if you do these things, you will be called as a good boy. Understanding my statement? You do these things, you will be called as a good boy. No, along with those things, I do some naughty things. Your wish. Is there anyone to check you all the things? No. Got it, guys? Got it, guys? And moreover, there is no permanent good in the market. There is no permanent bad in the market. Good for someone is bad for someone. Bad for someone is good for someone, right? Yes or no, no? Okay, guys. Shall we get into the next level discussion now? No, Java compiler. This is very important. Someone asked me question. Sir, if I don't follow what happens? Nothing will happen. Because compiler is there, class is developed perfectly or not. Compiler is not there to check whether class is perfectly developed as Java bean class or Pozo class or X class or Y class or Z class, because they are logical identities given by developers, right? Okay. Now tell me, guys, Java compiler, okay, does not check whether whether Java bean class, Pozo class, Pozy, and component classes are developed by following their standards or not, because those standards are logical standards for programmer. What is that? For standards, uh, logical standards, logical standards given by programmers, given by programmers, and they are not compiler defined. What, guys? They are not Java compiler defined standards or rules. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Because those standards are logical standards given by programmers, and they are not Java compiler defined standards or rules. Are you understanding my point, guys? Okay, right, boss. Okay, now listen. The component class or bean class can be a Pozo class or non-Pozo class. No such rule, guys. Okay. Pozo class or non-Pozo class. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Alok, in your question only answer is there POSI interface. So it cannot be component class, right? Okay. Just now I have given answer. You can develop component class by linking with API, by without linking with API, right? Please wait. Okay, now listen. Generally, uh, the service classes are classes with business logics. And yesterday we introduced DAO classes. Classes with what is that? Persistence logic. Listen, in real time, all logics will be placed in single class or different classes. Different logics in different logics, right? Come on, come on. The class that contains business logic, nothing but calculation, is called service class. The class that contains persistence logic, nothing but JDBC code, nothing but performing insert, update, delete, select operation on database software, is called DAO class. Generally, service classes and DAO classes are called as component classes. Nothing but bean classes, not Java bean classes. Bean class is different, Java bean class, because they contain state, they contain behavior. Inside the behavior, they try to use the state. Same story in case of DAO. Same story in case of service class. Convinced, guys? Okay, don't break your head on what? Service and DAO. I'll introduce them more exclusively in the coming days. For the time being, you remember. For the time being, you remember. Okay. Rahul Bugal, wait, I still have not introduced Spring Bean Dirty Fellow. Can I take the privilege of scolding, sweet scoldings? Can I take the privilege of giving sweet scoldings? Worst fellow, dirty fellow, this kind of, right? They are part of my flow of teaching. Okay. So, right, guys. Right, guys. I'll introduce Spring Bean. Still time is there. Still time is there. Right, guys. Tell me, guys. Service class means Java class with business logic. Nothing but car. Okay. DAO means data access object. It is also class with persistence logic. Okay. Nothing but JDBC code, Hibernate code, that kind of code. I'll introduce service class more exclusively. Don't break your head. Since some people are already aware of these terminologies, I'm just making them to realize. Knowingly, unknowingly, every day you are developing component classes only. Babu. Calculation, filtering, sorting, this kind of logics will be there. Mainly calculations will be there, guys. Okay, guys. Mainly calculations will be there. Shall I get into the big hero now? The big hero now, Spring Bean. But before Spring Bean, I must explain what is container. Okay. A container is a software program who manages the whole life cycle of the given resource. Okay. Birth to death. Object creation to object destruction. It is like aquarium for fish, guys. Once I drop the fish into aquarium, entire survival of the fish will be taken care by aquarium or not? Can end-to-end survival of the fish will be taken care by aquarium or not? The water required for survival, the air required for survival, the food required for survival, everything will be taken care by aquarium or not? So Containers are like aquariums, and resources given to containers for survival are like what? Fishes. A fish cannot survive without aquarium. Similarly, a resource given to container will be survived because of the container, will be managed and executed because of container. A container is the software program that manages the whole life cycle of the given resource from birth to death. From birth to death. Nothing but object creation to object destruction. Okay, guys. A resource is nothing but fish, guys. Okay, in practical, resource can be resource is a class. Is a class. Serlet container manages the life cycle of Serlet component. Serlet container is an aquarium. Serlet component is a fish. JSP container manages the life cycle of JSP component. JSP container is an aquarium. JSP component is a fish. Okay, EJB container manages the life cycle of what? EJB container manages the life cycle of what? EJB component. EJB container is an aquarium. EJB component is a class. And luckily, most of the time, we have a ready-made containers in the market. You need not to develop the containers. Luckily, we have a lot of ready-made containers in the market. Serlet container is ready-made. JSP container is ready-made. Spring EJB container is ready-made. In future, you will get Spring container that is also ready-made. That is also ready-made. In fact, Spring container is not only ready-made, it's lightweight also. With one line of statement, Spring container can be created and activated anywhere. Inside the method, you want Spring container, one line, ready. Inside the main method, you want to create and activate Spring container, one more line is ready. So Spring containers are not only ready-made, they are lightweight also. In fact, Serlet JSP containers are heavyweight. EJB container is also heavyweight. Serlet container means what? A big program should run. Okay, generally we don't get directly boss. We have to install web server like Tomcat. When you start Tomcat server, automatically Serlet JSP containers will run. EJB container comes with application server like WebLogic kind of thing. When we install and run, okay, uh, okay. When we install and run a WebLogic kind of server, then automatically Serlet container, JSP container, and what EJB containers will come. But the problem is they are heavyweight. They need GBs of memory to install, at least thousand MBs of memory to run the application. They are heavyweight, but Spring containers are lightweight. Okay, I think you got the basic idea about the container, guys. Okay, let me put some words here. Container is if you want, you can develop your own container, but it takes time. Correct? You develop a program which takes a class, loads the class, creates the object, manages the object. When need is not, then destroys the object. So if your program is able to do all these four activities, your program is also container. And someone developed means they also developed in Java, na? So that means when they can develop, one day we also can develop or not. Only the thing is difficult process. That's why I'm trying to use ready-made one. But if you are seriously interested to create, you can create it. It's not like that. It's not like that. See, to develop the web application, the entire market is using what? MVC frameworks. If you come to design pattern batch, guys, towards last classes, I will be developing my own MVC framework. In design pattern, that's the ultimate thing that we are going to do. I will be developing my own MVC framework. So it's possible. Everything is possible, guys. Only the thing is whether it is required or not required. Or not required. Why? When ready-made things are doing well, why should I create one more thing of same type? It's really meaningless, right? Okay. You are here to become a developer to use existing things. You are not here to become vendor creating alternate for existing things. Yes or no? Na? So that's why priorities of learning also very, very important. Okay, when you while learning core Java, your interest is how to use Java, how to create JVM, how to use Java, how to use ARE, how to use compiler, how to use JVM, right? Your interest is not how to create JVM, how to create compiler, how to create JRE. Are you worried about that? No. If you are really worried about means you are seriously planning to create your own language. Java is there, maybe you are trying to create Java language, right? So container is a software program, okay, who manages the whole life cycle of given resource end to end from birth to death. Given resource means generally class, guys. Birth to death. Object creation to object destruction. Okay, guys. Servlet container manages the life cycle of servlet component. Next, JSP container manages the life cycle of JSP components. EJB container manages the life cycle of EJB components. Okay, guys. Okay. Spring container manage the life cycle of spring beans, which also called spring components. I'll explain what is spring bean. I'll explain. Don't worry, guys. Okay, guys. Container container is like an aquarium. Is like an aquarium. Is like an aquarium. Tell me. Managing the life cycle of given resource or class called fish. Given resource or class called fish, guys. Super boss. Now tell me, sir, to run the Java code, JVM is required. How container runs the code, sir? A container also runs on the top of JVM, Rama. Container also runs on the top of JVM. Container is also Java program, boss. To run the Java program, JVM is required or not? Okay, that's why underlayingly JVM. First of all, container has to run, na? Okay, JRE with JVM. Here is my container. Okay, here are the components. Yeah, component one. Are nothing but class one. Nothing but class. Yeah, okay. It is like aquarium, guys. Aquarium. Okay. Any number of fishes can be there, Rama. Come on, don't study subject like this, please. Representation is represent. One aquarium can maintain any number of fishes, right? Okay, fine. If I write 4 circle 4, if I write 2 circle 2, don't study like this. Please improve your maturity of seeing the things. Are you understanding? There's no limit. Aquarium can bear any number of fishes. Similarly, container can bear any number of components and manages the life cycle, guys. Okay, guys. Once the fish is, once the fish is dropped into an aquarium, an aquarium, okay, guys. Okay, guys. Aquarium takes care of, takes care of fish, the fish survival. Okay, na? Fish survival. Similarly, once the resource, nothing but class is, once the resource or class is given to, come on guys, container, uh, container, the container takes care of, takes care of, takes care the whole life cycle of, the whole life cycle of given resource, like loading class, creating object, managing object, managing object, calling methods on object, calling methods on that object, destroying object, and etc. Are you getting my point, guys? Destroying object and etc. All these activities will be taken care by who, guys? Container only. Container. You need not to worry about our. It's like dropping the dropping the fish into an aquarium, guys. Right? Okay. Now listen carefully. This is the final point about the aquariums. Yeah. Servlet, servlet container, JSP container, EZB container, or heavyweight, because because they will be created and activated only when the only when the heavyweight wise, CPU time wise. Okay, memory wise, CPU time wise. Come on. Only when the heavyweight web server or application server software is started. Okay, example for web server is what, guys? Like Tomcat. Example for application server is what, guys? Come on. Like WebLogic or Wildfly. Understanding my statement, guys? Okay. Alright. So they are like heavyweight, guys. They need more memory, more CPU time to install and start, my dear. Okay. Spring containers. Spring container is lightweight container. Lightweight container because it can be started. Are you understanding my statement? It can be started. Okay. Directly on JVM. Directly on JVM. Okay. By just executing one or two lines of code. One or two lines of code. Okay. That means there is no need of installing separate server software, separate web server or application server software to start the Spring container. Sir, someone is asking me what is the difference between application server and web server. For the timing, you remember application server is equal to web server plus. Okay, that means every application server is having features of what? Web server. On the top of it, some additional features will be there. This is web server, guys. This is application server. This is application server. Okay, guys. Right, boss. So, web server contain servlet container plus JSP container. Web server contains servlet container plus JSP container, whereas application server contains EasyB container plus many other facilities. EasyB container plus many other facilities. EasyB container is available only in application server, but web servlet JSP container will be there in web server itself. So indirectly application server also contains servlet container and JSP container or not? Come on. You got the basic idea called what is container, boss? What is container? Come on. Tell me. Container is a continuously running program or one time activity program? Is one time activity program or what? It's a continuously running program. Yeah, container is generally continuously running program, guys. Once started, it will be running continuously. Then only it can manage the life cycle of given resources, na boss. Then only it can manage the life cycle of the given resource. Are you getting my point there or not? Sir, what is need of containers in our life? Without containers, I am able to develop my core Java applications. What is need of containers? And when containers are not there, you need to know how to load the class, how to create object, how to manage object, how to destroy object. But if container is there, it will take care of everything or not? Sir, in core Java application, I only loaded class, I only created object, I only called the methods, I only managed object, I only destroyed the object. Maybe not destroyed manually, but we know that when control goes out of the block, automatically object will be destroyed, right? Then why I should give that work to container? Why I should give that work to container? My dear beta, in core Java, you developed only standalone application, which is specific to one computer, operated by one user at a time, right now? Which is specific to one computer, operated by one user at a time. Understanding my statement? Yes or no? But when it comes to Spring, when it comes to Servlet JSP, when it comes to Springboard, are you going to just develop standalone applications? No. You are going to develop what? Websites. You are going to develop what? Distributed applications. Tell me guys, for these websites and distributed application, you will get request. You will get request on specific time or any time. On specific time or any time. Request may come on early morning. Request may come on late nights. Request may come daytime. Request may come night time. Request may come 31st December night also. Request may come on Sundays. Request may come on holy day. Holy day, holiday. Right? In this situation, okay, when requests are coming 24/7, there should be someone to take the request dynamically, to load the classes dynamically, to create objects of classes dynamically, to execute the objects by calling methods dynamically, to gather the results given by methods, to send the results back to client dynamically. So that dynamic activities will be taken care by container or not? Yes or no, boss? Yes or no? So life never ends with a standalone application, boss. Life never ends with a standalone application. We have a lot of things to see, right? Okay, I hope you realize the importance of container. There should be someone who should be active 24/7 to serve different requests coming at different times 24/7. Yes or no? For that one, container, server, this kind of facilities are required or not required? Every time I cannot sit and do manually, boss. Standalone application, everything we did manually because one user specific to one computer. But when it comes to web application, distributed application, do you think they are specific to one user and one computer? No. Web application and distributed application all over the world, right? 24/7 service they required. So do you think regular standalone setup is sufficient? No. We need a great setup of containers and servers or not? We definitely need a great setup of containers and servers, right, boss? I'll take one real life example to understand this. Come on, everyone. Your mother is preparing roti every day for 3 family members, including mother, 4 family members. Each person eats 2 rotis. Okay, 4 into 2, 8 rotis. 8 rotis na, she prepares manually. Everything she will do manually. Your okay, there is a one angle. Your family decided to start. Okay, your family decided to start one hostel or PZ kind of thing. PZ kind of thing or hostel, guys. Okay, in that one, 300 students are joined. Okay, every student is allowed to eat 4 to 5 rotis each day. No restriction on the number of rotis. On an average, 4 to 5 rotis will be eaten by each student. Because youngsters now, boss, come on. Okay. You know, lots of hostel owners wants to start ladies hostel, not the gents hostel. Why? And the ladies will do lot of dieting, na? So they eat less. But boys never do any dieting. So they eat more. Eat more, right? Fine. Okay, let it be. Can you come back to the subject? Right, guys. Yeah. So the 300 members are there. Each person can eat on an average 4 to 5 rotis. 300 into 4, 1200 to 1500, right? Tell me, guys, if you ask worker or mother or some other person to prepare 1500 rotis every day, 1500 rotis every day, is it going to work out, guys? The person will die, na? His hands will die, na? Okay, in that situation, okay, in that situation, we need automation support, machinery support. Yeah, roti maker is required. Yeah, container is also that kind of roti maker. Come on. When when you are developing websites, when you are developing distributed application, there will be so many classes, there will be so many objects to create, but we cannot sit and do manually. There should be so many things should happen dynamically when request comes from different location. So we need the support of automation or not. And that automation in software industry comes because of what? Servers and containers. Servers and containers. Convinced or not, guys? That's the reason when it comes to advanced topic, we should really worried about servers and containers. I know the people who studied Servlet JSP here and there, Spring here and there, never understood the importance of the container and server. Today you realized why containers and servers are required in real application, especially in websites and distributed application development. Got the clarity, guys? Clarity is very important. It's like that you know the point, but you cannot explain the point, right? But now onwards, you are able to explain the point what you know it or not. Okay, guys. Right, boss. Standalone application is specific to one computer and allows only one user at a time to operate the application. So, no automation is required. No automation is required to start and manage the application. Yes or no? Na? For websites and distributed applications, 24/7 requests 24/7 requests will come from different places, from different clients and different places. places. Come on, 24 by 7. I'm wrong here. 24 by 7. From different clients and different places. Okay. Uh, to take those requests, to take those requests, process those requests by creating objects and executing methods on those objects. Okay, and executing methods on those objects dynamically. We need the special automated softwares. Okay. Okay. Automated software. They are server plus container softwares. They are what? Server plus container softwares. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Crystal clear, clarity, boss. If someone asks you what is need of container, what is need of server, are you able to answer it or not? Are you able to answer it or not? It's my favorite question. Everyone asks what is container, but I never ask that question. Okay, I will ask what is need of container. Then originality will come out. If I take interview, I never ask question what is container. If I ask also, my second question will be what is need of container. Without container, we are able to develop core Java standalone application, right? Okay, guys. Tomcat is internally having containers. Tomcat itself web server. Every web server comes with. Shall we get into the next level discussion? Spring Bean. Now, Bahubali. We all been waiting for here, guys. Right. The Java class whose object is created and managed by Spring Container is called Spring Bean. The Java class whose object is created and managed by Spring Container is called Spring Bean, guys. Are you getting my point, guys? Spring Bean can be a Spring Bean can be a predefined class or user-defined class or third-party supplied class. In fact, anything can be taken as Spring Bean, guys. Third-party supplied class. Okay. Spring Bean can be a POSO class or component class or bean class or etc. or something else. Are you understanding my point? Anything can be made as Spring Bean. Only the condition is that class object should be created and managed by Spring Container. That's it. That class object should be created. Rakesh Kumar Gupta, 2 minutes back we discussed about component class. You are this much stateless. You are this much absence of mind. 1 minute back only I discussed. Today our first topic is component class. My dear people, please don't join lately. Don't join lately. Please be on in time. Don't miss my revision also. I know early morning, but still you have to manage. Okay. Since he has asked, a component class is a class that contains state and behavior, and inside the behavior, state is used. Okay, that class is called component class. State means member variables data. Behavior means methods with logic. Inside the method logic, state will be utilized. Spring Bean can be a POSO class or component class or bean class. Array Java bean class. Java bean class or etc. Anything can be taken as except abstract class and interface. We can take any Java classes. We can take any Java classes. Spring Bean. We can take any Java class as a Spring Bean, guys. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Okay. Right, boss. Tell me. Yeah. Okay, now listen carefully, listen carefully. To make a Spring container, to make a Spring container, okay, to recognize certain Java class as a Spring Bean, certain Java class as a Spring Bean, to recognize and maintain certain Java class as Spring Bean. Okay, we need to mark that class either in XML file or using annotations tell me, guys, in XML file use bean tag to make or to mark Java class as Spring Bean. Array, in this world, lakhs of classes are there. Every class becomes Spring Bean by Spring Container. Spring Container treats every class as Spring Bean. No. Spring Container expects some instructions, some inputs from XML file. What is that XML file? I will talk later. Technically, this XML file is called Spring Bean configuration file. Spring Bean configuration file, guys. In this file, you have to use which tag, guys? Bean tag. We have to use which tag? Bean tag. Come on. Array. If you know servlet little bit, Babu, to make Java class as servlet in web.xml, what we do? We use servlet and servlet mapping tags or not. If you don't know servlet, leave it. If you don't know servlet, leave it. Okay. Similarly, in Spring environment, Spring container ready to take instructions from XML file, which is called Spring Bean configuration file. Spring container do its activity according to what? XML file instruction. Inside that XML file, if you want to tell you want to see certain class as what? Spring Bean. That you want to see certain class as Spring Bean. Come on. Okay, guys. How do you mark it? How do you mark it? You will mark with the support of bean tag. You will mark that class as what? Bean tag. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Okay. Right. Spring Bean configuration file, XML file. gives instructions to Spring container. Spring container. Another node, Spring container manages the whole life cycle of Spring Bean. Whole life cycle of Spring Bean. Someone is asking what Spring container needs are. Array Spring container is not there. I should load Spring Bean class manually. I should create object. Come on. Okay. I should load the class. I should create object. I should manage object. I should destroy object. Come on, guys. Spring container manages whole life cycle of Spring Bean class. That means loading class, loading Java, loading Spring Bean class, creating object for Spring Bean class, managing object of Spring Bean class, and destroying Spring Bean object. Okay, will be taken care by Spring container. Convinced or not, my dear? Okay, guys. Now listen. Okay. Let us assume some XML file, guys. Any name you can give for XML file. Okay. Any name you can give for XML file, but recommended name is application context.xml. Why I will explain later. For the time being, Spring Bean configuration file. Spring Bean configuration file, a recommended name. It is not compulsory name, guys. A recommended name. A recommended name. Come on. Okay. Prasan, without knowing IE, you have become graduate. Prasant, IE means that means Ra Babu. IE means that means. What's happening, guys? Are you graduates or school going kids? IE means that means. Not Internet Explorer. You never studied that means in your whole life? Okay. Fine, boss. Application context.xml. I decided to make date class as Spring Bean. What class, guys? Date class as Spring Bean. I can take beans.xml, abc.xml, xyz.xml, any name. Only recommended name is what? Application context.xml. Bean ID dt class is equal to java.util.date. Okay, guys. Yeah, like this you have to make. Like this you have to make Java class as Spring Beans. IE means not, means example. That means explanation of the meaning. Okay. Bean ID dt class is equal to java.util.date. This is dt or anything. This is the fully qualified class name. Fully qualified class name. Acting as Spring Bean. Okay. Bean ID internally becomes object name for Spring Bean. Object name for Spring Bean. When Spring container creates object for a date class, what is this? Date class object. Java.util.date class object. Right. What it holds, guys? System, date, and time. System, date, and time. This is my DT, guys. This is my DT. Yeah. Array DT is the reference variable name, na? Indirectly, that reference variable name is nothing but object. Sir, how system date and time came, ra babu? Array, whenever date class object is created using zero param constructor, automatically system date and time will come, right? Okay. When Spring container creates Spring Bean class object, Bean ID will become object name. Object name is nothing but reference variable name. Yes or no, na? Reference variable pointing to object. Nothing but reference variable name or not? Reference variable name. Array reference variable name is nothing but object name. My body, object, Natras, reference variable. Natras reference variable is pointing to one body, right? Indirectly, this body name is Natras. Natras is the reference variable name. This body is the object. Okay, that's the reason. That's the reason. Okay, object is identified with reference variable name. That's the reason reference variable name is called as object name. But technically speaking, reference variable is different, object is different. Object is not having any name. But since the reference variable is linked with object name is nothing but reference variable name. Got it, guys? Super, guys. Yes, boss. In annotation environment, in annotation environment, we make, we mark Java class as Spring Bean using component annotation. Many other annotations are there, but minimum annotation what we use is what? Component. Okay. Bank operations, guys. Here state is there, guys. State is there. Here is what? Behavior. Array, lot of methods. Behavior. See, wantedly I am taking user defined class to give the feeling anything can become Spring Bean. Okay. Here is Bean ID. Array, this is bank is Bean ID. Bean ID internally becomes object name, guys. Component bank, guys. Tell me here, bank operations class object. Bank operations object. Right. Okay, guys. Very few days we work with XML. Maximum times we will be dealing with annotations. Our primary focus will be on annotation. Very few days we will be studying XML, guys. Bank is the reference variable. Yeah. I think you got the clarity by seeing this. By seeing this, come on. Okay. Yeah, this is Bean ID, guys. This is Bean ID. Component marks Java class as Spring Bean. Got the clarity, guys? And okay. Don't worry about XML. Don't worry about annotation. We will study them and we will use them. If you don't know also, just today understand what is what. You know HTML, you know XML. If you know HTML, you know XML, guys. Clear? If you don't know annotation, don't worry. Anything that starts with @ symbol is called annotation. Anything. We will be studying annotation fundamentals, XML fundamentals, then only will be used, guys. Then only will be used. Create object, only one object will be created having name bank. Having name bank. Is that clear? Okay. Here is the reference variable name. Bean ID means reference variable name. Reference variable name. Same story box. होशियार को इशारा काफी है, right? समझदार को इशारा काफी है. Right, guys. No, we should not give at package level. You should give at class level. We should give class level. Come on. Annotations, locations you cannot change. Few annotations can be applied at method level. Few annotations can be applied this. Okay. No, slash bank is not required, muddy fellow. Okay, slash bank is required for servlet, not for this one. How servlet is identified with its servlet URL pattern. Okay. Similarly, Spring Bean is identified with the Spring Bean name. Okay, guys. I think you got the clarity. Can I ask some questions? Nothing, Rabab. Nothing, Rabab. If you want to mark Java class as a Spring Bean using XML, this is the tag we have to use. Clear, my dear? Any confusion? Bean, object name is DT, class name is class. Easy, don't think much more on that. Okay. Jiban Pradhan. We use XML annotation to mark something. You are not a normal class, you are a special Spring Bean. To tell to container. Jiban Pradhan, you are not focusing. Just know I said one word. What is that? To make Spring container to recognize and maintain certain Java class as Spring Bean, we need to mark that class either in XML file or using annotation. Please, guys, please be with me. Clearly I said, and after listening this statement again, people are asking, sir, what is the use of XML? What is the use of annotation? Listen, Rabab, focus. I'm here to help you. Annotations are used most. Best is annotation. But few days we'll work with XML by keeping old maintenance projects in mind. Okay. Remaining all times we use annotations only. In XML, how you mark Java class as Spring Bean like this. Class name, with what name you want to see object should be created by Spring container that has the bean ID. Similarly, if it is annotation @component bank, with what name you want to see container should create object for Spring Bean class. That is bean ID. Guys, if you focus, 10th class student can understand my teaching. If you are 10th class student can understand my teaching. If you are not focusing, I am helpless. I am ready to put my blood and flesh together to inject subject to you. Are you ready for it or not? Are you ready for it or not? That's a question to be asked for yourself. If you focus, if you listen continuously, every point will come into your brain. My discussions will be in-depth, in detailed, real-time scenarios based discussion. To bear me, continuous focus is required. 5 minutes I will listen, 5 minutes I will sleep means not going to work out. Please be focused. My simple suggestion is Okay, don't lay on the bed while listening the class. Sit with a 90-degree angle. Sit in the chair. Keep your backbone in 90 degrees angle without backrest. Then automatically serious comes. Automatically seriousness comes. Got it? Okay. Now can I ask some questions to know how much you understood in today's class? Okay. Third party supplied Java class can be taken as Spring Bean. Yes or no? Na? Yes or no? Na? Yes. Okay. Every Pozo class is Java Bean class. Yes, sir. Every Pozo class is Java Bean class. Those are saying yes, I will mutter them. Pozo class contain getter methods. Pozo class contains setter methods. Pozo class is having guarantee of taking public class. Muddy fellows. Don't act of listening. Listen completely, my dear. Right. Every component class is Spring Bean class. Every component class is Spring Bean class. Answer is Nora Naina. If you have a component class, it won't become Spring Bean until we mark it. Component class should be marked with XML file. Component classes should be marked with what? Annotation. No, na. Are you component class can be Spring Bean, but when it is marked with annotation or when it is marked with what? XML. Until it is not marked, do you think it is Spring Bean? That's why I taught those things are waste fellows. That's the reason I taught. If you take a class, it won't become Spring Bean unless until we mark it, which is required for Spring Container to recognize that class as Spring Bean. Understanding my statement, guys? Okay, now listen. Component class can be taken as Spring Bean. Can be taken as Spring Bean class. Answer is yes or no? Na? Answer is yes or no? Na? Yes, can be taken. But do you think it will become automatically Spring Bean? No. You have to mark it explicitly, either using XML or using annotation. At least now you understood why I introduced bean tag and at the rate component tag, guys. Component class can be taken as Spring Bean class. Can be taken means can be taken. Can be taken. Come on. Yes, if you want, you can take it. Okay. Next. Every Java Bean class is Spring Bean class. Every Java Bean class, Spring Bean class. Answer is no. You have to mark it. Java Bean class can be taken as Spring Bean class. See, very small twist of the words, guys. Twist of the words, right? If you don't listen my class,